watching The Meech.
Well, this is some interesting news. The Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury website just updated a few days ago, and it said we're getting new information about the game very soon. Now, we kinda knew this since the game is like a little over a month away, but it's always great hearing some confirmation.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo has to be talking about it soon. I think it's going to be this upcoming week or maybe the next week, but yeah, I think it's about that time to give our predictions. It's been a while since we've done some Mario predictions.
Or Nintendo predictions in general. I mean, we did do the predictions for 2021, but yeah, for Mario, it's been quite some time. And mainly that's because we don't know about any other Mario games coming except for, you know, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. And I'm usually not the biggest fan of these ports, but this looks like they have a lot of cool stuff going for it here. With Bowser's Fury, we don't know much about it, but it looks like it could be very interesting. So with that being said, we have some predictions mainly referring to what Bowser's Fury could be, along with some other predictions about stuff like playable characters, power-ups, stuff like that. So do you want to get into Bowser's Fury first? Or do you want to talk about playable characters? Because I think maybe if we talk about Bowser's Fury first, it'd give kind of a premise.
Yeah, I think for the most part you and I agree on the premise, just because it kind of seems straightforward. Mario's not really the most in-depth when it comes to story, but it does look intriguing, so I'll let you start with this one.
So what I think the story of Bowser's Fury will be is it takes place right after the events of 3D World, where Bowser seeks revenge and creates an entire kingdom for Mario and friends to tackle. But there's a twist. I think that there won't be anyone kidnapped this time around, but I do think it'll have a theme of cats versus dogs. What do you think about that? Because we saw the cat stuff, but I'm kind of thinking that there will be dog stuff too.
I don't know about the dog stuff. It would be cool just because those monuments that we saw in the trailer look to be sphinxes covered by some dark bell thing. I think it's going to be very Cat Mario focused. It's going to be a lot more open than we think it is. But, you know, who's to say there won't be any new power-ups? Who's to say there won't be a Dog Mario or anything regarding that, you know? So, for me, I'm going to say no to Dog Mario, but I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Now that brings up a good point, because the reason I thought of the cats and dogs theme is because a few years ago on New Year's Eve, Nintendo had this thing at Akihabara in Japan, and it showed Mario and Bowser fighting, and Bowser was using this weird, like, Moai mech thing, and Mario transformed into a dog. And after I saw that, I thought, you know, they could really do something cool with this power-up. So I do think that this game will have Dog Mario. I think that wasn't a coincidence. There probably will be Dog Mario in this game. But what do you think the power-up will exactly do? Because with Cat Mario, it does exactly what you'd expect a cat to do. You can climb up walls, scratch things, but with dogs, it's a little bit harder to think of what he could do.
Well, I mean, I think for starters, if there is going to be a dog costume, and that New Year's thing was a hint towards the game, I think the power-up will be Mario and friends able to dig, the ability to dig. And how this will work is kind of like they dig underground, and they'll be able to tunnel underneath, let's say, a building to get to the other side.
That could work.
Maybe they could even have like a bark ability that'll stun enemies. I don't know. The thing is, cats are a lot more nimble. Dogs, I mean, they are, but they don't really have any attributes besides, you know, what I just mentioned. So I think the digging ability might be really cool. So basically, you'll be able to dig infinitely, and you could dig underneath like surfaces to go to different areas. I think it'd be cool. I don't know. I like thinking about it. A new Mario suit would be really cool, and the idea I just came up with was pretty satisfactory to that. But I feel like there needs to be more to it. Like, just digging underground. Okay, there needs to be an offensive attack along with that. Do you have any ideas for that?
I think your barking idea was pretty good, but I mean, we have the Tanuki suit, which you can spin the tail and attack, so you can't.
Uh,
I don't think you'd be able to do that with Dog Mario, but I'm trying to think of something that maybe running fast, like you get a little
I
bit of
mean,
a boost of speed when you run,
you already get that with Cat Mario, though. You know what I mean?
a little
So
bit.
yeah. So maybe maybe like I don't know. I really don't know. It's also yeah. I really don't know. I think I'm just gonna stick with the barking, stunning enemies, and digging underground.
I would say that too. Now, I know you said you're iffy about Dog Mario being in the game. Do you think it'll happen? Because I do think that it will happen and there will be a Cats and Dogs theme, but your
Mm.
opinion might be different.
I I love the idea just because I just want something new with Mario right now, and if it's a new campaign in 3D World, I'll take it, right? Um, it's plausible. The only thing that I'm hesitant, the only reason why I'm hesitant is because that New Year's thing. The reason why Mario turned into that dog was because that dog was the mascot of a certain company. But the Bowser mech was very suspicious. I don't know. Um, I think it's going to be 50-50 for me. Just because they're branding this as a brand new mode, it'd be crazy to think that there wouldn't be new power-ups, right? Or
Right.
new characters, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So I'm going to say I still don't think it's going to happen, but just because of how cool the idea is, I'm going to side with you and say, yeah, maybe there's a 70% chance that it'll happen.
I agree with you there. I think a 70% chance is pretty reasonable. Now, when it comes to other things in Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, what do you think the actual gameplay is going to be like? You think it'll be challenge-like levels where, think NES Remix challenges, except it's with platforming and stuff like that? Or do you think it's going to be open-ended, kind of like a new Mario game?
It's I really don't know because the trailer that they showed us was just so vague. And I think you and I analyzed it to death when we first saw it. We did see that the open hub world area does have like question blocks and like places for you to climb. And the reason why I was hesitant on Dog Mario is because it seems like it's very focused around the idea of the cat suit. But we also have this Sphinx in front of us that seems very mysterious. I honestly couldn't tell you if I had to take a guess. It's just basically a new campaign. Think of it as I'm gonna say, think of it as like a 3D World 2. If they made a sequel to 3D World that was completely different, basically a new campaign is what I'm thinking. A little bit more open, maybe some more challenging levels. I just the way they're advertising it right now, I can't see it as being like a challenge slash hard mode. I feel like it has to be something bigger than that. But what are your opinions on that?
So I do think that it will be more open-ended. It does look like there's a lot of open-world elements to Bowser's Fury. Again, that
Yeah.
trailer was very vague, so we couldn't really get an idea of what it was. But, you know, I do think it's something grander than we'd initially expect from these ports. I do think that it'll be kind of like a 3D World 2. And if it's like a new game, I gotta say, this is one of the few ports I'm actually okay with on the Switch. Because that
Yeah.
would be awesome right there. I mean, you're getting 3D World and this brand new mode. So I'm gonna say it'll be like 3D World, but more open-ended and more focused on platforming. I mean, 3D World's all focused on platforming, but
Right.
maybe a little bit more with the open nature, though I'm not quite sure. But if I had to guess, it would probably be more open than the regular gameplay. But levels, I think it'll have like half the amount of the main game, but I still think it'll be substantial.
It's just it's hard to tell what exactly it's gonna be. I'm just gonna be on the safe side and say it's gonna be a brand new campaign, brand new worlds, brand new objective, and new power-ups. It may be a new character. Who knows?
Speaking of new characters, there's been a lot of talk about if there will be new characters in the game. I do think that there will be, and I have two I'm predicting, but I
Mm.
think we'll go with yours first because they're more interesting.
Um, I have two predictions. I'll be completely honest. I think both are 50-50. But the first one I'm going to go with, I think, is the more likely option. I think it's going to be Pauline, and I think her ability is going to be to capture enemies, a la Super Mario Odyssey. Um, and I think that she's going to have like special levels designed around her ability. Do I think that she has like a super high chance? No, not really, just based on what Bowser's Fury seems to be. But at the same time, I can't really see anybody else being added that would be super unique. I mean, I your I'll let you say your predictions afterwards, but I just don't know if they're gonna offer anything to the table. Like, for example, Wario would be really cool, but we all know how Nintendo is with Wario.
Don't even get me started on Waluigi.
And Waluigi, yeah. And there's a certain green dinosaur that I was gonna put here, but I feel like he would be saved for like a power up, how he's used in like the 2D Mario games, the 3D Mario games. So Pauline's my first prediction. My second prediction, this is a little bit of a wild theory here. I think in Bowser's Fury, you're gonna get to play as Bowser. To what extent? I don't know. This is a long shot. Think I don't think highly of this theory as well as like the Pauline theory, but I mean, it could be cool. I just don't see any other character. Like, I know they're gonna put another character in there. I just don't see anybody else fitting the mold besides maybe Pauline. Um, yeah, that's it for me. So, how about you, man?
So, as much as I'd like to see Wario or Waluigi, I do think Nintendo is going to go the safe route. They're going to choose Daisy and Toadette. Why do I
Uh,
think this? Because Daisy was in Super Mario Run, and she's also being advertised for the Super Nintendo World theme park. And Toadette, well, she's appeared in everything recently. I know you said there might not be that many new abilities when it comes to these characters, but I think maybe Daisy could do a double jump, although that's kind of what Rosalina did, except you'll get
yeah.
more height with this double jump. And Toadette will be kind of like the easy mode. You know, just more. I think she'd be like Peach, floatier, but has enough speed, and they're
Ugh.
gonna kind of do what they did in New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, where she doesn't
Ah,
skid around and stuff.
I don't know. Really, we're gonna go with Toadette again? Like, who actually likes her as a new addition? You
Dude, these are
know?
predictions. As for what I'd want to
No, I
see,
know. I'm just saying. Like, I don't know. But yeah, what would you like to see?
I would love to see Wario. He's got the shoulder dash, which would be awesome to
Oh,
see. You already got a move set for him because he's been in 3D before in Wario World. Waluigi
that's
would be
what I'm
really
saying.
cool. He could swim in air, and he could have the highest jump, like kind of a springy jump, compared to Luigi's jump that gives you like more horizontal distance. I think Waluigi will be more vertical. And another
Right.
character I thought of is Donkey Kong. That would
Mm,
be really cool to see, because
DK.
he could have the roll, he could have the ground slap thing. I think it'd be awesome to see DK, but I'm not sure if Nintendo will go outside the safe realm of Daisy and Toadette. I'd love to be proven wrong, but that's what I'm
Yeah.
predicting.
I I think out of those two characters, I think Daisy might be the most likely choice. Um, I think the double jump idea is probably what they'll go with, just because I think Daisy is portrayed to be the like an athletic character. Um, I don't know. I'd be okay with Daisy. Like, I don't hate her or anything. You know, that's fine. She deserves her spot in the limelight. I just feel like they've been pushing Pauline a lot lately because of Odyssey's success. I think they would want to tie that in with 3D World here. But I might be wrong. I just feel like Pauline makes the most sense marketing wise. It would have a lot of potential gameplay wise, but um, Daisy probably will be the next playable character. Uh, I hope Toadette does not get in.
Yeah, with the whole thing with Pauline, you're saying that Odyssey stuff is being used more, but other than Mario Kart Tour and Mario Tennis Aces, Pauline hasn't appeared in much. I mean, they're not really embracing the whole Odyssey thing, and they're kind of keeping it separate from other Mario games. So that's why I'm assuming Daisy or Toadette, because 3D World is more
Yeah,
of the, you know, classic Mario, while Odyssey is out there. You know what I mean?
that's true. That's true. I feel like for me, it would make the most sense because we already have new fans who played Mario Odyssey who have never played 3D World before. If they see some sort of familiarity between Odyssey and 3D World, like, oh look, Pauline from Odyssey is a playable character in this game, they might want to gravitate towards that more. But I may be wrong. I don't know. Maybe Daisy's playable. Who knows?
Yeah, and going on from that, I do have one last prediction of something that could be added. This was a scrap feature from Super Mario 3D Land, but could work with Bowser's Fury. I think that Koopa skateboarding sections will return. So think of it as like a skateboarding kind of minigame, kind of something to separate from the regular platforming, where you take
Mhm.
control of a Koopa skateboard and you go off ramps, stuff like that. Maybe it'll have some Mario Kart gameplay mixed in. But that's just my wild out there prediction. I'm pretty sure it won't happen. But I'm just throwing it out there because I think it'd be really cool to see.
Sounds like the skateboarding sections in Spyro Year of the Dragon is what it sounds like to me. But that would be really cool. I think a prediction that I think will probably happen. Maybe not. I don't know. Rideable Yoshi. I thought it was really odd that we didn't get at least one level with Yoshi in 3D World.
Well, we have Plessy.
Yoshi, yeah, we got Plessy in it, but in my opinion, Yoshi makes a Mario game like even better. I mean, look at Galaxy 2, Mario World, blah 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 blah. But I think he'll be rideable. I think there will be levels surrounded around him. I don't think he's going to be a playable character because Yoshi isn't really known to transform using Mario power-ups, so that's why I'm saying like a rideable Yoshi. Other than that, um, I'm I'm gonna say maybe one returning power up, one retro power up coming back. What will it be? I'm not exactly sure. I do remember that the Cape Feather was initially supposed to be used for 3D Land. I also heard that the Super Carrot was supposed to be used, so maybe those two will return. But we already got the Tanuki suit, which is a floaty power up. So do we really need that? You brought up to me a little bit ago a retro power up that they have not used in a modern Mario game in a long time. Do you want to talk about that?
I'll talk about that, but going on from your idea of the Cape Feather returning, I think that makes a lot of sense, especially if Bowser's Fury is more open-ended. Because with open world
Maybe.
3D Mario games, there's usually a flight power-up. We got the wing cap in Super Mario 64. I know Galaxy isn't completely open world, but we got Flying Mario. And in Odyssey, we kind of had that with the lizard that you captured. Glydon, that's what
Right.
his name is. So I think the Cape
Right.
Feather could return, so I think you're onto something there. But the one I threw out there,
Maybe.
I was thinking maybe the frog suit could return. I
Hmm.
think it'd be pretty cool to see, but they'd have to make it more useful. Maybe you could jump higher and you don't lose any speed or anything like that, because the problem with the frog suit in Mario 3 that made it so bad is it was only useful in the water, but once you got out of the water, it became utterly useless.
Yeah, but I I think the frog suit is plausible. I mean, they could do the Mario Maker 2 thing and be like, if you run at full speed, you could run across water, right?
Right.
But also the other thing is like, how is that going to control differently than how you swim in water in 3D World? Because I think this is a main complaint that I have for most of the 3D Mario games. Swimming does not feel great, like Odyssey as well. So maybe there'll be levels where the frog suit like gives you different swimming controls that are like better, and you have levels surrounded around that. I don't know. They would have to make it work somehow. Uh, I'm not opposed to the frog suit returning though. I think it's a cool idea, but it has to be done right. and I have faith that this port will be pretty good, on the good side. So yeah. Any other thoughts from you? Because I'm trying to think of anything else that I may have missed, if any.
So when it comes to swimming with the frog suit, think of how the Cheep controls when you capture it in Super Mario Odyssey. So it makes swimming a lot easier and more smooth to control. You think that would work?
I maybe I I also, I mean, I thought the swimming controls for the Cheep were okay. It was just like an up button and a down button and a spin. I was thinking more like acrobatic underwater, because like when you think of a frog, you think like they could swim underwater like perfectly, right?
Right.
So I don't know. It's tough, and also like this is something I wanted to bring up earlier, but what do you think about like the overall gameplay? Uh, how do you think it'll be improved? Do you think they'll get rid of the run button and just have uh like control stick sensitivity be of the dictation between walking and running? Do you think the run speed's going to be faster for the characters? Do you think the 8 directional stick movement's going to be gone? I wanted to get your opinions on that.
Yeah, that's a great point to bring up there because yes, I do think that the run button will not be in the game. The reason because of it is because when you were playing it originally on the Wii U, for multiplayer you only had for the Wii remote, you don't have much like there. You got the D-pad,
Yeah,
the 2 buttons, that's kind of it, and you also have the one on the back. So they
right,
made do of what they had, and that's why I had the 8-way directional movement. But here,
right.
I think that because all Joy-Cons and Pro controllers have an analog stick, there won't be a need for the run button anymore. And I think we've seen the
That's
game
what I'm
controls
thinking.
faster. He has a new dive move, which is makes it a lot more fluid to play. So I think the
Yeah,
controls will be more in line than what we're used to with 3D Mario. So I'm guessing it's gonna be more like Odyssey than 3D World was originally. Because if there was one thing I didn't like about 3D World, it's that the controls were a bit stiff and you didn't really have a lot of movement.
I
But here I definitely think they're gonna
yeah,
improve it.
yeah. Just because like I don't know. To me, I recently I played I finished Tropical Freeze earlier today. And there's no run button for that. It's just like control stick sensitivity for me. And I think it works fine, and that's a 2D game. We're talking about 3D world here. I personally was never fond of the idea of a 3D Mario having a run button. I like we had a circle pad for 3D Land. Like we didn't really need it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But beyond that, I kind of felt like you know, um, I just kind of feel like the control stick method is the way to go when handling a running speed. Um, but who knows? Maybe they'll keep the run button to keep some familiarity with the 2D Mario games.
Or they could have an option to keep it or turn it off, but I don't think they do that. I think it'd just be control stick
I also,
sensitivity.
yeah, but also if you remember Mario Maker 2, you had to hold the run button still to make Mario run. So it might stay, but then again, like they didn't have the dive move for the 3D World theme in Mario Maker 2. And it was also 2D, which 3D World is more of like 2.5D. So who knows? It might be 50-50 on this one.
But yeah, you have any more things you'd like to predict about the game before we wrap this up?
I think it's going to be revealed this coming week, or maybe the next week after, but it's either going to be shadow dropped as like a trailer, or it's going to be a part of a larger Nintendo Direct. Fingers crossed for that. Game wise, I think you'll get your $60 worth, in my opinion. I think this will be like the one Switch port where you're like, yeah, I'll double dip for this. But in terms of what, I don't exactly know. I'm hoping it's like a new kind of mainline Mario experience, because it feels like to me Odyssey 2 isn't really coming anytime soon. So, if we could get something to hold us over, I'd be fine.
But yeah, I think that about wraps it up. I'm Demeech,
And I'm Ty the Guy.
and keep calm and da-da on.